What is up, guys? It's your boy, I've studied the blade, Cacus, and today, guys, this is an absolutely wild week for Destiny 2. If you haven't been playing this week, 100% hop on because you can do some broken things. And I know the word broken gets used in plenty of YouTube title, okay? I try to use it when it's applicable, and I would say 100% it is applicable this week because of the Blessing of Blades event, which is going to give heavy ammo swords constantly regenerating ammo, aka infinite ammo swords, in applicable activities wherever you see that Blessing of Blades buff. So that includes solo lost sectors, and importantly, it includes Nightfalls. Guys, right now, it is double Nightfall rewards for this week, and the Nightfall itself is the Insight Terminus, which is actually on the easy side. So you can get sub 10-minute Grandmaster Nightfall runs, which are arguably easier than they've ever been before with infinite ammo heavies this week. We're going to talk about some unbelievably powerful builds and combos for every different character so you can abuse the crap out of this. Also, guys, literally the time you're seeing this video, I am going to be live streaming on Twitch doing Grandmaster Nightfall carries. So you can get all of the Ascendant shards and exotics you need. Definitely click the link in the description down below to my Twitch channel. But let's talk about the absurdity. Thing number one, I said swords, I was kind of lying. It turns out there's one weapon that also for some reason is glitched out and gets infinite ammo, and it is the 1,000 voices. This is an exotic heavy fusion rifle, and you can see exactly what it's doing in the background gameplay. So again, Grandmaster Nightfalls, infinite ammo, 1k voices. It's never been easier, guys. It's like, this is insane how much you can farm the crap out of GMs this week. Now, you might be thinking, well, this is clearly a glitch. They're going to nerf this soon. Nope. The official Destiny 2 team account, as you can see right here, acknowledged this glitch and literally said, you know, they might have to tone it down for Gambit, but for everything else, go wild for the entire week. Yeah. So, if you are using the 1k voices, if you're lucky enough to have it, now it does drop from the Last Wish raid, so it's not the most accessible. Don't worry, we got some other build recommendations after, but again, if you are using it, it can so easily slot into any of the god tier solar warlock builds, right? Because you get all of the harmonic armor mods that will improve your solar weapons, and as if it wasn't crazy enough, it's actually solar surge in the Grandmaster. Oh my god. So definitely, I was just using it on the speaker site like Healing Warlock. You have a huge degree of survivability in that build, and now you've just strapped an infinite ammo nuclear bomb to the build, right? But some tips here, guys. If you want more synergy, you do have the Rain of Fire exotic leg armor for the Warlocks. This will make it so that getting kills with fusion rifles and linear fusion rifles will actually make you radiant, which is pretty darn awesome. You can also in-air dodge to instantly reload linear and fusion rifles, so definitely more synergistic to use the Rain of Fire, but again, I really don't think you need it. What you do need, however, is to make sure you have the Solar Fulmination artifact perk on. This is going to make your ignitions do increased damage in an increased radius. And remember, when we do look at the 1,000 voices, its other unique trait here, Unforeseen Repercussions, makes those explosions, they're scorching explosions. So it's actually really easy and nearly guaranteed to get an ignition if you shoot a full 1k voices shot into, for example, a champion. So boosting that ignition damage even more so is crazy. And that also means, you know, if you're on the Prismatic subclass, you also have a facet here that is going to improve your ignition of radius even more so if you want to synergize that direction. So definitely make sure you're speccing into like Scorch and Ignition stuff when you're using the 1k voices. Now, again, it's the most broken thing you can be doing this week, but the second most broken is also pretty insane, guys. If you're on a Titan, definitely consider the Stronghold Exotic Gauntlets. these are going to give you significantly more damage resistance when you're blocking with a sword, and if you are blocking, you're going to build up stacks, and if you attack after blocking, you're going to get restoration ×2, which is a huge degree of healing. I was simply using it in the Grandmaster, which you're seeing the background gameplay of, with a Falling Guillotine, just a god tier void weapon because it was a void surge. I've got a Vorpal weapon and Whirlwind Blade for the double damage perks, and it was just insane. Like, you just slam those champions. Now, you could play it a bit safer and use a caster frame sword, something like this Temptation's Hook, so you could actually use your sword at range. However, I felt like they just didn't do enough damage, and you have so much survivability, especially with the Stronghold Exotic Gauntlets, that you really don't need to play that passively, especially if you also spec into Berserker. I know everyone has been completely starstruck by Prismatic, but remember, if you have access to a Berserker Strand Titan, guys, you get Banner of War. This is one of the most broken aspects in the entire game. When you defeat enemies with swords, you then get constant pulses of healing and boosted sword damage. So honestly, this week, with a Titan using Banner of War with infinite ammo swords, oh my goodness, you've got to try it. Don't forget, you also have stuff like Into the Fray, as well as, you know, this fragment here that is going to easily give you Woven Mail for that huge damage reduction increase as well. So definitely running all those things is really going to give you an incredibly survivable sword build that also outputs a ton of damage. You can easily run through a Grandmaster with that bad boy. But for the Hunter, we also have some crazy shenanigans going on. Particularly, I want to point out the combo involving the Heartshadow. So this drops from the Duality Dungeon. It really doesn't see a ton of play. However, importantly, when you use a heavy attack, it will make you go invisible. Oh, and it would also weaken enemies, which is super useful, but that invisibility can be exploited by the Hunter like no other class, and that's because you can simply use the Gearfalcon's chest piece or the Spirit of the Gearfalcon intrinsic on your Prismatic Exotic Cloak, and that says your void weapons gain volatile rounds after you emerge from being invisible. So you just heavy attack. As you can see, you instantly go invisible every single time. Then, when you attack while invisible, you have volatile rounds for your Void Sword that is also weakening enemies, that also has infinite ammo. Now, this becomes an infinite loop as long as you have Stylish Executioner, and both the Prismatic Hunter and the Void Hunter have access to this Void aspect, so this just says when you defeat an enemy with an elemental debuff, including volatile rounds, you go invisible. So with the Heartshadow, guys, you heavy attack, go invisible, you attack literally anything, that gives you volatile rounds, you kill that thing, you go invisible again. And then you attack again, you get volatile rounds, you kill that guy, you go invisible. It is an infinite loop with the Heartshadow. Now, normally if you're playing a Void Hunter, you have more abilities that make you invisible, like you can just dodge and become invisible, but using the Heartshadow, because it will get you invisible in the first place, it is a really powerful thing to use with Prismatic, especially if you do have, again, the Gearfalcon's, or Spirit of the Gearfalcon on one of your relativism rolls. Now, if you are using this combo, and remember, you can use it on a Void Warlock with literally any Void Sword, it's just that the Heartshadow is awesome, you can definitely put on something like Expanding Abyss, where Void Sources deal increased damage to weakened targets. Again, the Heartshadow brings its own weaken effect, so it's gonna boost itself with Expanded Abyss, which is absolutely crazy, guys. So, just some wild combos this week. Again, we are only scratching the surface. Double Nightfall rewards this week for a relatively easy Nightfall stacked on top of all of this. Great time to farm the game. Like, this might be the easiest time ever to farm exotic drops and rare resources like Ascendant Shards because of all this going on. Like, it is absolutely crazy. Guys, that is it for the video. If you want to see more of me, I'm, again, live on Twitch. Definitely click the link in the description down below. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.